Oh. And we're off.
Hey
Is that
everyone,
it? Did that just not intro us?
it's live.
Your mic is rough.
Oof.
Here, but hold on. I wanted to play this real quick, man. I did all that work.
My God.
That was
I can't
awesome.
get over that.
That was just something I whipped together real quick. Did you see the little logo for
Cool
Igro?
intro.
Did you see your logo, Eagle? That whipped something
Why
up.
am I
What up? What up?
a
I
winged
need the
microscope?
What's up? Man, massive feedback.
Yeah.
We gotta
bad
figure
We're
that
echo.
gonna
out.
figure it out.
Bear with
I
us.
think I'm gonna do something here.
So can we all see the live comments, Mo?
Yeah, go to comments.
Oh, they're
What
there.
up, Jeremy? Let's see. You got a comments panel window open up?
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Window. Banner. Comment. Yeah. All right.
Welcome. Thanks for joining, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We're just taking it live. Why not? Right? So, what are we doing today? What are we looking at?
Does everybody hear Mo echoing?
I was not.
Am I
hearing
echoing? I can do this. Watch. I'm not. I don't. Are you hearing me echo?
Yes.
Kind of like hearing myself.
You
too.
sound fine to me.
that. Yeah, I don't hear echo. I don't.
Well,
Okay, cool. Well, we've got stuff. We've got Emily's stuff.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. It's been hard to stay away from it. I'm like, all right, don't run it. I want to be just as surprised as you guys when we look at stuff. So let's take a look, right? I'm gonna pull together.
I know you already opened the pool water. You did get into
Yeah.
that one. So what have you done with that one so far? Has that just been fed so that it can grow?
Yeah, it's in my window. So yeah, I took her algae. She's got a pool, and then I saw the video that you posted. So definitely next time, grab some of the sludgy stuff in the bottoms because that's where these microbes they hang out on organic matter. So
so I was looking into that. I wasn't quite sure, and I didn't think to ask her anything. Well, it was going to be a surprise at first. I'm not good at keeping surprises though, so I'll let you know it was on the way. Hey, Josh.
We got Alban up in here. We got Josh here.
Nick,
charcoal.
cheers, dude.
Will it drive the pH? So charcoal is oxidative. It'll push your pH up, and you want to be careful with that when you inoculate it. I would inoculate it with something like the bennies, like the beneficial microorganisms, things like you probably know it as EM, things with a lower pH. Break that chemistry. That charcoal wants to push your pH up. So just and no need to go crazy with it either. Everyone gets crazy with biochar. 5%. I like 5%. 10% they say is the max. All the studying and research is shown 10% is where you want to, you really don't want to go beyond that. There's, first of all, I know it's something weird when the lounge is not lounging.
Is that the percentage you're saying? Is that when you, like, the amount that you're adding to how much space you're trying to cover?
Well, so if you're making, let's say you're making a potting mix, and you start breaking your ratios down, 10% of that, you don't want to exceed 10% in biochar.
Okay.
You with me?
Yes, sir.
Because you can this whole it's a great input. It really is, especially in sand. Like in Florida, I'm real big on it here because we need to be able to hold things, and sand doesn't hold anything. The soil guys are over there in clay, and so when I say hold things, I'm referring to energy, electrons, cation exchange capacity. They work as conductors, like batteries. They hold energy, and then it'll be available. Sand doesn't hold anything, so that stuff will run right off. Our water goes down to our aquifers, and we don't, so we need to start adding organic matter. You can do this with organic matter too. It doesn't have to be biochar. Compost is organic matter. So just I would start slow. And I know I'm guilty. I used to dump biochar. Hell, we've composted at the garden. We've composted starting with 6 super sacks of biochar, and Rick did it to prove a point. So he bought
how many?
6, bro. 6. 2, 4. It was like something like 8 tons.
That's a lot
of biochar, and we started a compost pile with just that, and then slowly started working in the nutrients. So we went backwards with it. Instead of starting with like wood chips and nitrogen inputs, we started flipping biochar and putting things in it.
I was watching something earlier. It was like a 4-part series of Dr. Elaine Ingham, and she had said something about biochar isn't living, so it needs living things to activate it. So like you can put the biochar on stuff, but when you add the plants, then does that mean that it starts to become available, or is it just a waste until you what?
So biochar is like a hotel for microbes. If you look at it under the microscope, and I'm sure Eagle's probably pulling something up, it is extremely porous. And these microbes move into the biochar. And this is just scratching the surface of that. So they move into these pores and they start creating glues and film around them as well. And then there you go. Right? So look at that. And these structures are there indefinitely. I mean, biochar doesn't go anywhere when it's burned correctly. And then you get into the fact that it's capable of holding energy and moving energy, and microbes like to build colonies of glue. They glue what's called EPS, extracellular polymeric substances.
What?
They make glue.
Say that again really fast.
EPS, extracellular polymeric glue. Everything. That's what an aggregate is. And we're gonna see that in your compost. They will like start gluing themselves to organic matter and creating a little home, right? When the nutrients are there, it's kind of like they're like pioneers. I think of like people in the jungle, settlers, or these Indians going through the woods and deciding, okay, we're gonna camp out here because there's water. That's another thing, is that biochar can hold something like 3 to 7 times its weight in water. There you go. So it can literally hold tons of water. So places that are dry, places that suffer from these dry events, biochar is in there to help support it. It's also a cathode.
So even like a wildfire still is like saving itself to regrow, because it's like a wildfire will leave biochar, and then it's just going to need a little bit of that left to start up again, or I guess to be activated.
Biochar is made through something called pyrolysis, which means that fire does not touch the wood.
Oh.
It is basically burned. It gets so hot that the wood burns without being touched by flame, and that's how you get biochar. The other way, you're going to end up with wood ash, and now you have a whole different input there. You have a whole different level of chemistry there. The wood ash gets used as minerals. The wood ash also, listen, in Mexico, for example. And, I've been talking more and more on Mexico because I'm being taught by some heavy hitters out there. These trees, your plants, for example, right? Let's talk about any plant, flower, whatever it may be. Those roots are sucking up nutrients into the body, right? The system. So where does that go? They use it for fruit, right? We end up harvesting fruit and eating fruit. Whatever's in the leaves, if it gets chopped and dropped the way Skunk uses in his pond, right? When he cuts his leaves and drops it, whatever minerals are in those leaves are going to end up back in the soil. You know, there is a loss because it comes out of the bud or it comes out of the plant, the fruit, the vegetable. But when you take your stalks and you chop them down and you burn that into ash, you also have minerals. And in Mexico, they will use that a lot heavier. Yeah, bamboo is, yeah, we could talk bamboo and biochar is some of the best stuff out there just because of the structure of bamboo. But yeah, so depending on how you burn it, Emily's going to be the big deal. And that's why there's, you know, so many people pushing and pulling, and you got to have it at, you know, 600 Celsius and 602 Celsius, and there's no smoke. When you got a good biochar burning, you don't have smoke either.
Right.
And then if you look into like the Kelpie Wilson, go ahead. Stop me. Just stop me, Emily. Because
No, that's okay. So the wood ash, then, that's going to be the soot, like the ash, obviously, that's at the end of a fire. And then the biochar is going to be those hard pieces that are still left that didn't burn all the way down.
correct.
Or those could be charcoal by that point. Oh, I guess biochar is charcoal?
So it's charcoal, and then when you inoculate it with biology, it becomes biochar. So good catch.
Oh,
right?
so that is, yeah. So you just have to inoculate it at that point if you pull it
You have
out.
to inoculate it with biology.
How do
Otherwise,
you do
it's
that?
charcoal. Well, we
You
do
can
it.
put some labs on it.
Yeah, a lot of people use the same process to make like hardwood charcoals for their barbecue pits and stuff. They just don't take it as far.
Yeah, you know, I think it has to do with also the parent material that you use for biochar. So when you do burn it down, you know, in pyrolysis, it'll retain a large majority of whatever minerals was in that parent material. And so they're like little hotels, like Mo was saying, that microbes kind of inhabit. But at the same time, we know that microbes are the miners of minerals. So they start to tear that down and actually embody some of those minerals. Mostly nitrogen is burned off, but the rest of the other ones are actually retained in the carbon structure.
So it would be best to put that back with the same plant to fertilize it with that then?
Well, now you want to get crazy.
Yeah, any plant, you know.
How crazy you want to get with that question? Because we could start getting into biochar holding memory from that plant and stuff. I've got white papers on that. Maybe we'll do an episode on that.
It's too early. I don't think we can go
Yeah, I
quantum this
agree.
early.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean,
it
we're
is-
just dipping our toe right now. I don't know.
Yeah. We're here for the scope of the soil, but biochar. Okay, so people like Cuauhtémoc Villa, right? They talk on how biochar that plant will store the memory of that grow. So a tree, for example, you know, the trees, they have rings when you cut them. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but those rings are telling a story. Those rings are giving us the age of the tree. Those rings are telling us whether the tree had drought stress. You know, it's telling us that we know that by just the width of the ring and all this other stuff. Well, some of this work that's being done is showing that, you know, this memory of, for example, a forest fire. Let's say we can go back 2,000 years. A forest fire happened 2,000 years ago and we know about it. The soil's telling that story because we can tell simply through electron microscopy, I think it is. I'll use calcium as an example. We know what calcium
with
looks like.
magnets or is that with electricity?
Here you go. Electron microscopy is just a whole other beast.
Let's put a slide on.
Well, yeah, I'm working on it.
Just kidding.
We're distracting
We're-
him. He still has to mix the slides.
I got something up. This is kind of cool.
But calcium changes after it's been burned, right? And so we know that calcium has been changed through a heavy burn. We know that tree, that area got burned. And it gets even deeper than that. It gets stored into the memory of it, so it prepares your plant for it. Oh, there's your bad boy. Is that a bad guy then, or what?
No, according to Matt, it's a tetraploa. The Eagle can help us out with that one, but it should be a good guy. And this is,
Yeah, those are fun.
it looks bad.
We're gonna do a one. We're gonna do like a 1/6.
Is that how much you're diluting it?
Yeah. I'm gonna dilute it 1/6, but I haven't even yet. Eagle, you sound rough. Look at the color of it. It's already amazing. And I haven't even swashed it. Swashed
It
is
just
that a
looks
word?
dark.
That's right. You'll be surprised how much garbage. You're gonna see stuff just like now that you're here with us, Emily. You're gonna see stuff just fall and it's gonna be clear. That dark is carbon, is humic acid, it's humic substances. So this is how I do it. You know, the soil food web is gonna teach people to do this in one hand and forward 10 times. I tend to like just slowly roll the microbes and try not to beat them up so bad. Jeff's really good at that. Forest fires.
I do not beat up my micro.
We leave some percentage of biochar. I agree. Now, Josh's got a point here. There will be some percentage of the forest fire. Like if you burn a tree stump and you douse it out, you're going to end up with some type of charcoal. Now, we start getting into, you know, volatile organic compounds and maybe it's not burned correctly. And people get too technical. Look at Terra Preta. Do you know what Terra Preta is?
I do not.
Jeff, do you want to explain Terra Preta, buddy?
So way back in the day, there was some people, and you know, in order to compile their stuff, right, they would dig holes in the ground, and they would throw everything in there: their waste, their food scraps, their broken pots, clay pots, and then they would just keep filling that hole until eventually it was full, and they would cover it up, and some of the most highly fertile soil they ever found was in those holes. That's
To this
Terra
day.
That's a very basic explanation of it.
To this day. Basically, you know what? The Indians used to dig holes because they needed to discard their waste. Now that everyone's turned this into this mystical thing, right? The Indians dug trenches in the form of a V shape and they started pooping in there and partying and dumping all this stuff in there. Remember, back then there was no plastic. All of their waste was natural and organic. That's why we even have pottery in there, right? Because they threw pots in there. And what ended up happening is that they would light it up, they would spark it, turn it on fire, they would cover the hole. What they learned, though, is that in a couple of months, grass started growing, and then bison started coming behind them, right? And so they wouldn't even have to go out hard to hunt. And they, by this point, they would settle up down the way and start this process all over again. And now to this day, they've actually had to put controls on Terra Preta because people were going over there and trying to jack some of it. Bring it here, and it is known as the it's in Brazil, I think. It is known as the most fertile soil on the planet. Go figure.
So it's
Chunky there.
considered soil. That's also dirt, where dirt is what it is before it turns into that. Like that picture that had the two comparisons. The one side that was like orange would be considered dirt then, and then the other side that's black would be considered soil because it has like life in it.
Well, what's considered dirt is sand, silt, and clay. Those are the three parent soils on our planet. Any course you take, if you go sign up for the Soil Food Web, or if you go sign up for Matt Powell's Regenerative Soil, the first thing you're going to learn is that the three parent materials on this property, on this planet, is sand, silt, and clay. You need sand, silt, and clay for everything.
Oh no, I know about sand, silt, and clay. I've listened to Josh's videos a handful of times.
Yeah.
He talks sand, silt, and clay every time. That's like his phrase, man.
That's how he built
But
it.
I don't understand when it turns into soil then.
With organic matter, so the
Artificial
microbes,
When it's alive.
when there's life. When the microbes start colonizing it, they start breaking down forestry, grass, whatever. They start here. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put your sample on now. I'm up. Let me see.
Yeah, what is this bed from?
This is not me. This is Jeff. Oh,
No, the one
this
that you're
is
pulling up.
compost number 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn mine
Okay.
off. This is about your garden.
Well, let's not make it about Jeff then.
No, we're not. I'm turning it off. I want to see what you
Okay,
got.
so sand has nothing in it. It holds nothing.
Sand is the largest
It's the
part of
largest.
right? And so think of sand as a bunch of tennis balls, right? They're big, water runs through it, it doesn't hold on to anything. It doesn't have any conductivity, really. I mean, it can't even hold electrons. Like, doesn't even work out type thing, you know what I mean?
So then, what does silt have in it?
Silt is like if you're walking along a stream and you get that silky, muddy soil, that is silt. And then clay, that's sand, right?
That's what sand looks like under a microscope?
Yeah, I think that's sand. It looks like that, but I don't know what I don't know what the magnification would be. If I knew that was like 200, I would say sand all the way quickly. What does the thing say?
That's 40.
Oh, that's
That's
40.
sand,
That's
yeah.
sand. Yeah, that's sand for sure.
Thank goodness.
And think about what sand's made of. It's silica, right? They make glass out of sand.
Yeah, yeah.
So it doesn't. It just provides space.
It gives you
Yeah.
it gives you drainage.
Okay.
It's super
Think about,
important, right?
Think about how plants grow on a like an input to output scale. Plants need energy from the sun. They need oxygen from the air. They need carbon also from the air, and they need nitrogen, phosphorus, and then potassium, all the micronutrients as well, like all the boron and sulfur and molybdenum and stuff. And that's the part that they can't get it from the air. They can't get that from the air, so they have to get that from your minerals or your nutrients that are in the soil. Sand is mostly silicon oxide. It's mostly quartz, but there will be sands that will have other minerals in them. There'll be bits of salt along with the sand. There'll be bits of organic matter, and this is mostly the purpose of organic matter. Clay and silt you can extract some nutrients from. Loam you can extract nutrients from. You can solubilize the minerals, or solubilize the elements out of the minerals. In other words, you can make them into liquid form so the plants can eat them. But most of the time, your organic matter will be the major source of these solubilized. It'll act as like it's the battery, right? It acts as storage for all these solubilized nutrients.
Did you get all that?
There's going to be a test later, so I hope you're taking notes.
It'll
I
be on a
couldn't spell
test.
one of the words, so I stopped.
You know what's cool? I think I saw on YouTube that we can act. I'm gonna mute you. You can have a quiz. Look, so you have a nematode. This is your sample, right? This is your compost. I already see at least two things. At 100, we're gonna get closer, but right now, just the way this nematode, how the size of it and the back end tail, I'm gonna immediately call this a predatory nematode in this fungal feeding nematode, or it could be a root feeding, which wouldn't make sense in your compost, but definitely nematode, right? But I'm gonna call this a fungal feeding nematode, even from right here, because I recognize the length of that tail, and this is just from me staring at nematodes all the time. So I'm gonna try to identify through the mouth part. We're at 200 time magnification. Still not gonna tell from here. I'm gonna go to 400 magnification, and we're looking for like a spear at the mouth part. That's gonna be a tough one. It's
He's
moving around
moving
way too
so
much. Yeah.
Yeah, he's angry.
The other nematode that I've seen then has just the line, like a mouth. So this one won't have a mouth.
Okay, well, you were on the call last night where we saw the line and then the balls at the end.
Yeah.
This one will have the line without the bulbs at the end.
Okay.
Or it could
And
have
the-
a single bulb.
Or
Fungal
it could have
feeders
a-
can
oh,
have a
yeah,
could have a
fungal
single
feeder. Well, yeah.
single
Yep.
bulb stylet.
Is a fungal
Yeah.
feeder an issue in a garden?
No.
Not at all.
Okay.
They control population, right? That's like the wolves in Yosemite Park again. You know, I keep going to that because that's a pretty big deal. You know, they need to be there. And so here's something that's really cool, and I'm going to continue to do the work on it. But these things, I was again talking on it last night. they make a decision. So if you know anything about like monarch caterpillars, they shed. I think they're called instars, right? They do 5 instars. My sister raises them, so I know, and I've even raised them. But as they grow like a snake, they shed, right? And after the 5th instar, they will prepare to become a butterfly. They'll go into chrysalis. But these things do the same thing even when they're born. It's called in the juvenile state. It's the J1 first stage, J2, J3, and J4. At J3, before they go into adulthood, they decide then and there from receiving signals in the soil, from everything around it, what it's going to become. So if it's in a system that is abundant and fungi, it will become a fungal feeder probably.
Oh. Or
yes.
Okay.
Bacteria.
So then there's also a root, or what else?
Well, if there's no nutrient, if there's no bacteria that we're looking at, all these little dots, and there's no fungus if this is a fungal feeder, we should be seeing fungi. There's already a spore there, but it'll make a decision. And then here's the larva. I mean, here are the eggs. You know, this is the larval stage, and then here, 2nd stage, 3rd stage, right here. The J3 is where they decide just through picking up signals, and even bacteria is sending signals. Now, there's that cool spore. I was looking for one of those today.
Here's a different nematode on the screen.
That's how smart soil is, and when you have the right players and you have the right biology in soil, things operate this way. They happen like this, right? So we're already looking. I'm probably. What is this?
Wow, look at that.
This is more of a bacterial.
Big screen?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
There's no
I was
question.
gonna say put that on the big screen.
Oh, make it large?
Yeah, I want to see is this one a fungal, or is this the other type?
Go ahead, Mo. Explain your palm tree.
I can't.
Bacterial.
I don't. Yeah. It's a bacterial feeder, so I can't point at it, but I can't fully identify it from the mouth parts. So then we can drop back to that. You see that little bulb?
Yes.
That I call the palm tree. That's called the dorsal bulb, I believe. That is like a little pump that pushes bacteria through it.
Okay.
So if I couldn't classify it up at the mouth parts, we tend to drop back and look for that bulb, and then whatever it's eating is fluorescing, which is a whole different story as far as what's fluorescing with that.
So we'll be able to see if it has that bulb on it.
This doesn't have that bulb.
Oh, it doesn't.
No. Yeah. Well, I'll go back to 400.
And it's relatively small.
Yeah,
it's all the way at 400.
It's a small one.
Kind of
It's
looks
a
like
small one.
whiskers.
But I swear that tail is a giveaway to me.
Non-definitive language. Non-definitive.
Yeah, that's what we're talking. Maybe I'm wrong. Look, it looks like there may be a dorsal bulb there. You see it? You see the palm tree looking thing right around? Well, now that it's under that. Look, right. Oh,
Yeah.
right around here.
Yeah, look at the spore too, Emily.
Tough
That it's
call.
right by its head.
What is a spore?
A
The
spore, a
black
fungal
circle?
spore. Yeah. Looks-
Right there.
Yeah.
That's a fungal spore.
Yeah.
So
Well, we definitely have mushrooms all over.
yeah, hyphae they'll germinate like a seed, like a tree plant seed, and you'll start getting fungal hyphae. So bacteria, right? We're looking right now, and this is just one field of view, but I'll definitely keep paying attention. But I also look to see the behavior of the bacteria, right? Because bacteria they communicate with each other through something called
Quorum sensing.
quorum sensing. You probably gonna want to remember that because you're gonna hear that a
Whoa.
lot.
What is that thing that's crawling up towards the black, like, leaf litter? It just went under it. Never mind.
Am I going the right way?
Yeah, it's under that. You're up a little bit too far. Go back down a little bit more. Yeah, it went under that bottom of the screen there, that brown. It went under that, but I don't see it on the other side or anything. It was
Well,
just like a quick moving crater.
Let's talk about what we're looking at here. So we're looking at this right here, and we're looking at this right here. These are both testate amoeba.
And they're not broken.
Okay. Well, they're not.
Finally.
And then you got a spore over here, and you got a piece of
nice
fungal
spore.
hyphae. This is a hell of a shot, right?
Yeah.
This is we just basically have seen a lot of what we're looking for. If we were qualifying this, if we were like sitting here counting organisms, you're already, you know, like, okay, next slide.
Right.
Because we got the nematode, we've got multiple spores, we've got 2 testate amoeba. I didn't see what crawled underneath the
And
bacteria.
this is only one drop.
This is not one drop. This is
Oh, Mo uses 3 drops.
No. But this is not only 3 drops. This is, let's go back to 1 drop, right? This is one section of 1 drop, right? And it's zoomed in at 400. So if I took you to 100, this is just one field of view, FOV,
Right. Yeah.
right? So this is, in a drop, you're gonna get around 40 to 60 field of views. This is 1.
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
a lot of
Listen,
stuff in it.
That's
Mo
very
gets
good.
like 200 because he uses double slide covers.
I used 2. I put 3 drops, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that way we can, you know, really get in there.
Cruising around all day long.
Right, and it holds. It doesn't dry out on me as fast, right? So right now we're at 100. I'm gonna keep moving, just because that's. So I can already see fungus everywhere, right? Look at this. This is beautiful right here. Let's dive in. Let's drop in over here. Good job, guys. Like you guys got some serious compost happening here.
Well, you've seen
So
the
this
garden she
is
grows,
from
right?
So this is from the compost pile that we're currently top dressing everything in the garden with. We do like a 2-year cycle on it. So everything this year that we're composting, we're putting back in our pile number 2 and only pulling from pile number 1. Then next year when we start using, or I guess actually once we're through with this pile, so it could be another year or 2 years, you know, before we're through with that pile, then we'll switch back to using the other one.
What are you putting in it?
Everything.
Kitchen scraps.
Yeah, kitchen scraps, all of the like dead plant material, like all of the plants that we've harvested, the roots, the weeds, everything like that we put over there. Branches, twigs, leaf litter, grass clippings, ashes, paper towel.
Good.
Yeah, just a bunch of
Carbon.
breakdown stuff.
And then let's take a look at.
Oh, and a shit ton of coffee grounds. Those are probably what's powering it the most.
Coffee grounds are.
That's a lot of coffee.
Look at that. That's a testate amoeba.
Oh,
See
that's
'em?
beautiful. Can you
Yeah,
zoom in on that?
And there's
He looks so cool.
many different types too. So we've already seen like 3 or 4 different, right? It's all about diversity again, right? So I'm gonna be welcoming these testates to my pile.
Unfortunately, that word has been kind of bastardized, but yeah,
What has been?
diversity in soil.
It's been what now?
Diversity, it's been kind of abused recently in the
Well, I mean, what other word do we use though? You know what I mean? It's the truth. It's like we want
No.
diversity.
in soil. It's super important, just like cover crops, grasses, everything. Diversity.
I'm with you. It's like regenerative, dude. I'm hating to see what's happening with the word regenerative because it's going to become like organic, right?
That's
I
right.
I know a guy. I got a local guy who does great work, and now he's like advertising as ultra organic because organic is no longer good enough.
Oh my
Cool,
god.
cool. Now we're super duper organic, and here's another beautiful testate amoeba. Look at that one, and a nematode. Look what's happening here. Nematode here, testate amoeba here. You guys are killing it. This is
Now I
like
don't
Big
see any
example.
diatoms.
well, yeah. You wouldn't. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I mean, you would expect to see those if you were near an aquatic system. Like if you were in my situation where you have a creek or ponds, you would see them there, or an area that's prone to like heavy water holding. You know, then you would probably see them there. Or if you throw them out, right? Diatomaceous earth, which we learned the other day.
Well, but
Oh,
diatomaceous
wow.
earth is not alive.
Well, it's not alive, but you would then see the structures.
There is broken up testate amoeba. There's a spore there. And then look at the size of your aggregation. But most importantly, let's start getting into the stuff that people usually don't look for, because we've already looked for the shiny stuff, right? The shiny stuff. The shiny stuff is the stuff that moves around that everybody always wants to see. But when you start looking at the behavior of bacteria, and how you see how it's just kind of vibrating.
Yeah, they're just staying in one spot, just kind of going back and forth.
They're being pushed around by atoms and electrons and shit. It's called Brownian motion, but they're just vibrating. They're just chilling, right? That's a good thing, because if this was getting chaotic, if something was wrong here, you would start seeing clusters of them everywhere, gluing themselves together to protect themselves.
Would they move more erratically?
You can see bacteria moving. Yes, you'll see them actually traveling and moving. Now, they do that in your body too, right? Well, that's some type of organic matter.
Oh.
That is not like a nematode or anything like that. And then look at this thing. Look at that piece of organic matter and all the nutrients on it. There's whatever's fluorescing is like nutrients on that thing.
Okay, wait. What are you? So you have right now. You've got a cover on.
Here. So I have this lamp right here.
Okay.
Is an epifluorescent lamp, right? So there's the slide, objective, LED light, shooting light up to the slide, but then this becomes above lighting, where when I pull this out, it shoots a 480 nanometer light. Then I cover the bottom, and it exposes certain things that fluoresce and get excited under that type of lighting. Certain minerals get excited under that lighting. I'm convinced that chitin gets excited under that lighting.
Shoot, I might get excited under that lighting. That was so cool to see.
Yeah. So that allows me to, I'm noticing that things that may be biological, alive, a lot of the aquatic stuff, there you go.
Okay.
Eagle's air support is serious, right? So I don't know if you want to come in and explain that real quick, Eagle, and I'll stay quiet so we don't get feedback.
Yes, it's just a spectrum of light is sent down at the sample. It hits the sample and it causes the electrons in the sample's molecules to vibrate a bit, and this causes them to get excited. Then they release and relax back down to a lower state, and you get the output emission light. And so certain molecules will autofluoresce, while other molecules won't. And the molecules that we're seeing here, like the different lignins, as Marie said, the chitins, the flavonoids, are all autofluorescing. And this gives us information about that those molecules are present. And yeah.
Yep. Steady.
Yep.
Thank you, Eagle. So imagine putting your flowers under light, right? You can actually see things fluoresce. Look at that testate amoeba, another one. So your compost is fire. Like, your compost is definitely something that you're using the right way, because you're top dressing with it. You can extract with it. Do you guys extract with it? Do you run extractions with your compost? I can't hear
sorry,
you.
I didn't realize I was muted. My bad. Apparently, I'm new to this too. No, we do not do extracts. That would just be adding water to it, watering with it.
So imagine all this life, right? That you have in one handful, right? So you're gonna take one handful of all of this life, and you're gonna put it in one pot, or there's something called a soil capacitor. This only can handle so many microbes, right? There's only so many people you can put in a room before they start spewing out and going away or insisting. They're like worms. If you've ever raised worms know when there's too many, and they say, you know what, we're gonna move on from here, or we're gonna just go away. There's too many. We're gonna stop breeding. There's a lot of communication happening in the soil, right? So what happens if you take that handful? You extract it into 5 gallons of water, and now you can broadcast those 5 gallons of water to a lot more plants.
That's right.
Now you're sharing all that life through and spreading it out into 5 gallons of water, right? So you're maximizing.
Is
You're
there a
maximizing.
benefit? So the only reason to do that, like say if I were to cover a bed, so I've got like a 4x8 bed built out, and I have the compost, I have the means to distribute that much compost evenly across the top of the bed. I could just do that, and then it's got a ton of life in it. Or you're saying that's not beneficial, instead do like a ratio of...
If you have plenty of compost, by all means do what you do. Now, most people don't live like that, right? Most people don't have this level of compost, right? This is a you know, an amendment grade compost here that people pay for. They pay the extra money for to have this level of life in it, and you know what nutrients are in it because you know what you're feeding it. So, for example, you know, like a Johnson Sioux, which is going to have even more life in it, they're using 3 pounds per acre.
Oh, I gotcha.
They're washing it out like a tea bag into like 200 gallons and then distributing it through foliar, spraying it onto their land so that they can
And then-
maximize.
Because that will get just a little bit all over that will then start to feed and reproduce itself.
That's correct.
Right.
Okay, that makes
Right.
sense. Cool.
So your garden, right? Your Igro, continue your practices because you got it. You have enough of it. But your garden, you know, maybe you want to do the potatoes and the tomatoes, and instead of burn half of your compost doing that, take 2 pounds of it into 10, 15 gallons of water, and then you know soak with it.
yeah.
Yeah,
that's
just for
awesome.
context, like that IMO product that Chris Trump, BioMe, you know, it's if you put it straight on the ground, it's 375 square feet. If you do the process of extraction and letting it grow out, it's 63 acres.
Holy cow.
Yeah, right.
How do you
Right.
know
It's
what is
very-
the best rate to dilute it to?
Test it with the microscope.
Okay.
And
Like
he also,
how much
he doesn't
biology
dilute.
and fungi do you want in a certain area, so you can, you know, play with it. You can do an extraction, put it under the microscope, see how strong it is, then dilute it down a little bit. If you have
Look at this
50
thing.
testate amoebas per field of view, maybe you don't need that much concentration, so you can thin them out a little bit.
So how is there a ratio then that I want to keep it within for testate amoebas per field of view?
I'm sorry, repeat
No.
that.
Like there is.
What was the question?
Is there a number of testate amoeba per field of view that I want to stay within to be healthy, not low, not too high? Goldilocks.
Yeah, that's a loaded
That's a-
question.
It's a very tough question.
That's a loaded question. So, go ahead, Eagle.
I think it'd be hard to have too many testate amoebas. Like, you'd be hard pressed to get that many.
All right,
So,
it's a goal now. I will.
If you,
get to
if
you
well,
in a
the
few
information's there, right? That if you're looking for what's crowned as the biocomplete compost through the soil food web and Elaningham, it's something like 1 testate per every 2 field of views, right? Which we've already surpassed here. That's a biocomplete compost, from what I understand. I'll go do the work on that again. It's been a long time, but yeah, they're so these testates, they move really slow. They're the divas. I call them the divas in the soil. Hold on, I want to show you guys this. This is a piece of organic matter, carbon. It's black. You see how dark it is?
Yeah.
So that's carbon. Do you guys use biochar?
No.
Okay, so this is just straight up broken, and this is a great point because it's organic matter. You don't need the biochar, right? But look how dark it is. And when I light this thing up, look at everything stuck to it.
It looks like a city map.
Oh wow!
It is a city. It's exactly that. It's a city of things happening in there. I'm at 100 magnification. But you can
Crazy.
you can see how these things are all glued together by bacteria, right? Bacteria is like, oh, this is a great piece of soil to colonize. And guess what else they do when they do that? They ensure that they don't get washed away by rain. This is why they glue each other to each other, right? And make this happen. Now your roots and your fungi can come here and pull nutrients from here. Look at all the little dots and stuff here. Let me cover this so I can use my hands, but let me go.
It's amazing, amazing shot right there.
It is an amazing shot. Look, let's get closer. I mean, I don't even. Let me go to 200. This is 100 almost only, right? Let's get all up in this. Look at all this stuff glowing over here. That's your roots and your fungi can extend to this right here and get a buffet of stuff.
Dude, that looks incredible.
It is incredible. It
It's
is
like a Milky Way.
absolutely incredible, right? That's look at the outlining of this. It's like some type of organic matter, maybe a leaf mold, like you say you use leaves over there. Whatever that round thing is there, I'm not sure, but
Now,
we'll find.
is there ever a situation where it's super healthy on one side and then it's like rotting, decaying on the other?
I'm sure I haven't really identified something like that or even thought about something like that when I look at it. I will look at that though. Well, I guess maybe I've seen like half of it colonized, and the other half really not. And that could be that I walked into it halfway through. Maybe
You didn't even say excuse me? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
You said rotting. I mean, you want it rotting, right? You want decaying, rotting organic matter, because that means your cycles are present where they're going.
That's exactly right.
Very true.
Look at this.
So will you be able to see, or I guess what happens to that? So say that clump gets attached to a root, or I'm sorry, a root attaches to that clump. Would it then just disappear, or would it then turn into a different color, or?
Well, if a root has to go do the job itself, because that's basically the root doing the job itself. But if the root had to go harvest from that, the root would get close to it and start releasing acids and start breaking things down. But the root's going to call microbes to do the job. The root doesn't need to do that. That's an extreme condition,
there's two things
right?
I want to look at. One is that beautiful pink and green. Is that a testate amoeba?
That's your pond water at work. That's your pool at work. You see that red?
Yeah.
That is, look, we looked at it yesterday, right? That is the little green thing that's in your pool. So he's just hanging out in your soil still alive. That's not the first one I've seen. But that's exactly what we're at 400, which makes perfect sense. And then here's a piece of fungal something. And that's very small, so that might be well, it looks fungal though. I would say usually that's small. We tend to lean towards bacteria, but that looks like you see that separation there? There's a separation here if you're looking at the pinky of the hand, because I don't know how to make it an arrow. And then over here, there's another separation.
Okay.
So this has got, now there are bacteria that are thin like this that also have that. So it's very hard to tell what this is, but it's either fungal or bacterial. I would lean more towards fungal just because of the consistency and the width. Although, if you look at that little piece of bacteria, that little round bacteria moving next to it,
yeah,
look at how thin that hyphae is, that it's actually the width of that bacteria.
That's wild. That's wild to think it's that small. Whoa, we're zoomed in quite a bit.
We're zoomed in 400x, 400 times.
Gosh.
We are all the way up. Right now, I have a 600 and a 1,000, but I never. Here's a nice little spore. It's a lemon spore.
Is there anything that the compost is missing? Because I don't see. I guess I wouldn't see rods like labs.
Your labs are there. They're in the background. Look right there. Looks like there's a rod. You see it right there? I'm circling it.
Oh, okay.
There's a
There's
rod
also one on the right.
But it's in right quantities. This is not what you're used to seeing, or people are usually showing stuff where there's a billion of them. You don't need a billion. They don't need a billion, right? The soil's happy like this. This is the way your compost is settled. This is what a mature, I don't even want to say the word mature anymore.
Oh, well,
You're going to get voice clipped.
I'm going to get voice clipped again. But yeah, mature compost that's been sitting around for 2 years is going to look this peaceful. Look at this piece of organic matter. Like this is, so the dark, again, the black is the carbon, the dark brown is the humic acid, and the light brown is the fulvic acid. But look at this. That looks like tons of bacteria. This looks like Maybe I'm wrong. That's 400. Jeez.
It'd be like a pile of humic acid. Oh, wow.
Oh. Igor, I don't know what happened.
So
Your microphone just sound good though.
Alright. Cool.
Yeah, you're back. Oh, you were.
you need to
It's
say
still,
something, man. Come on.
Look at that thing. I don't know,
It's like a
piece of
gem.
leaf.
It's beautiful.
And then whatever that is, just flossing over here, like, whoa. That is just
Right.
Imagine how bright that is. And that's inside. Look, it's from here you can see that it's not even at the surface. It's like, let me see. Oh no, it's probably sitting right on top. Look how small it is. Damn, it's like the core of that is lit up.
I wonder
And
how it
then
responds to
there's-
the birefringence.
Dude, you already know where my brain was at. Let's see if I can do that. I did a modification yesterday, trying to be a genius, but
Ooh.
no. I hope. Oh look, there's another piece of fungi, right? So here's the pinnacle of everything, right? Is that, yeah. This is the big deal right here, right? This is like, all right, we've got fungus. This is what everybody wants to see. Right there, it's fungi. Because when fungi is there, everybody's happy. Fungi will bring your pH down. And most compost, thermophilic compost, the problem they have is that, sorry, I got distracted. That sounded like people think, whenever a sentence starts with people think I'm crazy, I have to read it. Outdoor compost, indoor. People think I'm crazy. I say that I use my outdoor compost indoor. Wow, I'll tell you what, man. I don't even understand why they would say that, but you know, we live on the same planet, so I don't. I would use.
If
Yeah,
you've
this
got,
is.
I don't know, somebody just commented, I always think it would smell indoors, but I guess in small quantities and covered with some peat, it wouldn't be too bad inside. I'm just going to let you know right now, if you have good compost, you're going to want to put your face right in it. It smells so good. It doesn't smell like rotting food. It doesn't smell like wet mud or cow pies or anything like that. It smells so good. But that's like, you want the fluffy stuff.
Wait a
You don't
minute.
want-
Wait a minute. Are we giving the disclaimer on that or what?
I'll 10 toes on that one. Yeah, compost smells great.
There's a bacteria in compost that they can infect your lungs when you through smelling it.
Fuck,
Even if
damn it, it's worth it. I'll risk it.
Hey, listen, I'm with you. You know, Matt always stresses that to us. He always throws a little disclaimer out there. Here's this thing again, what we were looking at last night. Like, I swear, whose sample were we looking at? Ron's, right? Look at it. Where I was arguing, it's a bug part.
Are we doing polars? And find out polars,
Oh
epicenter?
yeah, let's polar it. Yeah, so we were back and forth last night on this particular thing. I mean, you agree that's what we're looking at there, Jeff?
I left before Ron started showing his stuff.
Oh, okay. Just
Sorry.
yeah, you know,
So that's what, like a cricket leg?
it's some type of, well, just consider that right now I'm at 100 time magnification. A cricket's a lot bigger than that, right? So this would
That's
be
really
some
small.
type of, this would be some type of arthropod, or some type of. But what we were last night, he didn't have this, and we wanted to see if it would respond to biofringence, which is. I want to see if it is gonna bloom. Yes, sir.
Whoa, that's freaking beautiful. What did you do?
We just pushed through the atmosphere, and we are
He turned
now
on the galaxy.
above the Earth, but we're now
Gosh,
below
this
the
is
Earth,
amazing.
right? So that is reacting to this biofringent to this film. These are polarized lenses, or polarized film, right? So these things that are, look at that, looks like a star right there. Right? So minerals, we know that they fluoresce, or they don't fluoresce. They light up different colors when you have this type of film. But what is your thoughts? What's the word on that, Eagle? That's a bug part, man. I'm telling you.
I don't know. Chitin doesn't fire. Doesn't.
Well, actually, let me hit it with Epi though, because he didn't even hit it with Epi yesterday. He didn't have Epi to hit it.
Yeah. All right.
So okay, let's do that. Let me pull this back out. I should have done that beforehand. And then again, not all chitin responds to epi, but slide it up. Oh, there it is. Not to mention that it looks like it's got torn off. Let's not forget what our eyes are telling us. You see how it looks like it got ripped off of a bug? This part right here would be the connection point, is my theory here.
I don't know. I think this one's gonna be one of those unresolved mysteries until we get.
We gotta go to the comments here. I'm gonna add this yes to my side.
Right. Awesome.
I got a yes. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. So let's put the galaxy back up, right? So we get a opportunity to see, although we can't identify the minerals because I don't have $20,000 for a microscope. Nor do I care for the. I don't care to. Well, yeah, I don't want to do the work on that's a lot of work. That's like a lot of work having to recognize the different minerals, because I did go down that little rabbit hole and I came back out quick. I was like, no way, I ain't gonna do it.
What do you have on your screen, Jeff?
He's got a rotifer.
Yeah.
That's a rotifer, buddy. That's a roadie.
Is it all balled up?
It's all jacked up.
Oh, like he's not extended?
Oh, there's stuff
Yeah.
moving. Look. This is moving, and there's something moving inside.
Sure, he's all pushed in. If I had to guess, I'm guessing that's rotifer. If it decides to wake up and prove me wrong, then cool. But I've seen too many rotifers. Look at, there's his mass tack. Watch, go back. That looks like the mass tack on the upper middle area that I can't point, so I wish I could point. There you right? Yeah, you see that? That looks like a mass tack to me, which is the thing they use to grind up microbes. It's pumps. That thing is either dead. Hit it with epi.
It didn't glow.
They never do.
It just had something inside.
Yep, that looks like a rotifer, even like that under epi. And a rotifer, I'm gonna show you what a rotifer is. I'll show everybody what a rotifer is. Rotifers are some of my favorite microbes. They're one of the first ones that I've really seen here in Florida. This is, it's got a corona, which is the mouth parts have, they create vortices with these, the vortexes that will suck microbes to them. They don't have spray cans built into them, but they are.
Come on.
Big, yeah, these ones do. In my world, they do. But this is the pump right here. The living microbe pump is that I'm talking about. Cleans water, organic waste. I mean, they are the big hitters in soil, in aquatic systems. Fish eat them. What happened there? Oh.
He got tired of waiting for the dead thing to wake up.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So they feed them to fish. You can grow them. I used to grow them because I just wanted to see if I could.
Huh.
But yeah, they are. So the cool thing about these guys is that if you have your soil has microbes and bacteria that are colonizing each other. Like, so there's something called quorum sensing, right? Quorum sensing means they're going to communicate with each other through something called auto-inducers, which basically, I compare everything to the hood because I grew up in the hood. But, and just about any hood, if you're walking down the street and people start whistling, it's your butt. Like, you better get out of there, right? Well, these things start sending out these auto-inducers to see who's around. And then they send back their whistle saying, oh, we're all here. And they make a decision to come together and either colonize something or become toxic and make you sick. Like E. coli does that in your body. If you don't have the good guys.
A rotifer?
No. E. coli is communicating, right? So this happens in soil. The bacteria will do all this stuff. But when a rotifer goes flying by it, sucking everything up and dispersing everything out of the way, is scattering everything. It's like a bulldozer just ramming through a group of, look at that, he's got a paratrick. A spirochete. You see that thing?
Try to zoom
Zigzag.
on it. It's moving like crazy. It looks like a spring.
Do you see a little spring coming out of the piece of soil there? Can you point at it, Jeff?
And right now, it's right
We can
here.
see it.
But look, see it's
Look
popping
up.
out.
Those are the ones you don't want to see in your soil in big quantities.
Is this 400?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really tiny.
Look how
It's
big
amazing
it
how
is.
it moves like that.
He's so tiny. It's huge though for. I mean, yes, it's tiny, but a spirochete for a spirochete, look how long it is.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's really weird, isn't it?
That's pretty much stretching out the almost the whole width of that organic matter.
Also, I'm used to spirochetes like being free floating, not wiggling like a worm like this. It's interesting.
All right, I'm gonna move on. While you're doing that, Jeff, I'm gonna move on to the next sample.
Which
Yeah,
one are
what do
you
you
pulling
got?
out next?
Well, let's find out what comes out of the bag. What do you do? Is there something you want to look at specifically?
No, I mean all of them, but just whatever you grab is cool.
I would be like, yeah, I want to look at this one first.
Right.
That's cool. What are we looking at, Jeff?
I grabbed from the creek today. So this is creek.
Great compost, Emily.
Thank you very
look at
much.
this guy.
I mean,
What is
I'm
this
just gonna
guy?
give all of the kudos over to Spartan Grown though, because he's been working on this compost for years. I've only been touching it for a few.
Spartan.
Uh-oh. Mo, what's
Spartan
this?
grown is being attacked by people. Oh, that is a worm.
It's not a worm.
Not a worm. That looks like a Diloptis, bro. It's got the tail. You gotta get closer to that. That's a Diloptis.
I love this. Oh, it's only 40.
That could hold on. That could arguably. That's a Diloptis.
Are you sure?
What does that eat? Does it?
That's
I mean,
you see its
everything
mouth.
eats
You
bacteria.
see its mouth part. It eats ciliates even, but mostly bacteria. But I've seen this thing eat small ciliates. But it's got its mouth part is at the bend of the
Is it on the? Is it a tongue that's coming out?
no tongue. That thing is like probing for information, but the mouth part is right at the base of that thing.
Weird.
Oh, you have my art piece? Yeah. Finally. Someone acknowledges my graffiti rotifer.
That's Helen. Hi, Helen.
I don't care. She acknowledged it.
Oh, yeah, you can see the mouth there for a second when it turns sideways. It's like a little shark, almost.
Yeah, look, this is a good. So this is a point here that I go crazy about with Skunk's system. His system is alive, dude. This is like I've never seen anything like it except for a pond sample like this or a creek sample where it's constantly flowing. Like we've seen some crazy stuff in Jeff's system here. His thing is
There's a
constantly
diatom there,
cycling nutrients. There's a diatom.
And it's moving.
Look at that little boat.
That's gonna look cool under Epi, dude. Hit it with Epi. Boom. Those things are super mesmerizing to me. And those things live in moving systems as well.
Of course, it's going to be much more empty compared to Josh's samples because Josh's samples are on a creek, and a creek inherently has more transference of energy, more like there's more going on. It's more dynamic a system than soil or than compost. If you're growing vegetables and plants, you're going to be working with different sets of microbes than you would in a creek because a creek is multiple different ecosystems all together. You have freshwater, you have shallow, deep, you have soil that got washed into it. It's a very, very diverse system.
And agreed 100%, Eagle. And then also, when that compost is sitting for 2 years, it gets processed. I always talk about the job being done, right? The construction crew goes in there, they build the building, and then everything just gets to normal. if you go feed it again, you know, if you ever wanted to spark up your compost system again, go hit it with nutrients again. Go hit it with more coffee. Go hit it with more of your food scraps. Go hit it with a bokashi. Let it sit for 2-3 days, and if you go under the microscope, all of a sudden it's gonna look wild again, because they wake up.
That. I mean, so I guess the difference. So I'm wondering. I really appreciate it, and thank you, Eagle, for breaking that down. Because I feel like, there's just so much stuff moving around. I don't obviously understand it, but it looks pretty full, especially for something that's been decomposing, and there still is that stuff in there.
Well, you can't compare the two.
Okay, so they're not in the same. They're not just the same.
Not even the same.
It's apples and oranges.
Apples, oranges, absolutely.
Okay, well that's okay. I appreciate that. That's cool. Now, if I were to look at the other compost pile, then the one that I'm actively putting food scraps in, would that show more life then, because that's still living?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that'd be cool then. I think looking at that other compost would be interesting then, so that we can see that, because where I pulled out from that compost is, just days before, dumped out, watermelon rinds, things like that into it.
Oh yeah, that should be active.
So you're adding food. You're waking them
to
up.
the other one, to the
watch
compost
this.
pile
Here's
too.
here's something I learned as a kid when we go feed the birds. As long as you're throwing bird seeds, you're gonna have birds in front of you. When you run out of seeds, those birds are gonna bail. One or two are still gonna linger, right, and hang around you. If you go get more bird seeds and start throwing them again, these birds are gonna come back. These microbes don't walk away.
Yeah, I would say, Mo, I'm not sure which one you're pulling out, but I'd be pretty interested in seeing that other compost pile and just compare the two, because one of them is one that, since last year we haven't put anything into very much. Maybe an apple peel or something that we toss over, but
yeah.
The other compost pile is the one where I'm actively, like, when I'm making soup, stews, things like that, cutting up onions, putting all the edges into that pile.
Your other bag of compost, I could tell you right now, if I had to, just by feeling it, touching it, it's gonna be more active.
Because it's heavier?
Because it's heavier, it has more moisture. I don't know, something tells me. I could be wrong, don't get me wrong. I could be wrong, but just from staring at it, touching it, holding it, I think that it's gonna have more activity. It's gonna have more activity. So I can take your compost. Watch, here's what I'll do, because I do this anyway. I'll take your compost, that one we just looked at, and I'm gonna feed it.
Okay.
I'm gonna feed it some dehydrated fruits that I have, and I'm gonna feed it maybe a little bit of the squid juice. Thank you, Helen. I'm gonna feed it a little of the squid juice, and then we'll go in there and see what wakes up, because things will wake up, because they're like, oh, more food, time to wake up.
So are we seeing things? Wait, hold on, that's confusing. So the compost that we just looked at, that had obviously things moving around in it. Damn. If you feed it, what wakes up? Were we seeing things in there that were just blobs that weren't moving that will move, or are they going to grow from a bacteria now?
No. I'll point them out here. There are things in there that are encysted. They go to sleep. They go dormant. They're like, all right, there's no food here. I'm going to turn into a ball, a shell. I'm going to protect myself for up to thousands of years if I have to. And when you put food in the system, they pick up these signals. It's an intricate, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. There's communication happening beyond what we can even imagine. And we think we know a lot, but we know nothing. But we know enough to know that this happens, right? And when I put food in there, things will wake up. And I use that squid juice a lot. I swear I'm not an affiliate of squid juice. But the reactions that I saw with their product when I put it in the compost immediately woke up a lot of things. And the reason a lot of things woke up is because fungal woke up first and actinobacteria woke up first, right? And because they woke up and started not overwhelming the system, but started becoming dominant in the system, everything else knew to wake up to control that. And that's what a healthy soil does for you. Like here, he's got everything here necessary to control a population if it gets out of control. And that's what it's all about.
And that means if something were to just show up, in what capacity? Like he forgot to water,
so
let's take it to a bird.
Let's take it to the body, right? Let's take it to the body. Let's say you have a specific bacterium in your body and you don't have the beneficials to combat that bacteria. I'm saying bacterium mean one one bacteria. Bacteria means singular. So one specific bacterium in your body that is now calling upon others of the same
Hold on.
type.
Sorry, one bacterium is
Yes.
one of these little vibrating dots, or
Yes.
every variety of this, only certain
I'm being specific to one bacterium, whatever this particular bacterium is. Let's call it E. coli again, because everyone knows E. coli makes your stomach, it gets you sick, right? E. coli is a specific bacterium, right? And when those come together, they will make you sick. But in a healthy consortium of microbes, they will get put in check before that happens. And I'm going to use beneficial microorganisms as an example, which everyone out there is going to know it as some type of EM or something like that. In the presence of beneficial microorganisms, E. coli, let's say there's 1, let's say there's 5 in a bottle of your beneficial microbes. Not only are your beneficial microbes outnumbering those 5, but they're going to create immunities to that type of bacterium in the event that they somehow start to grow and get crazy. So they will now start communicating with each other and saying, we need to make sure that this guy right here, we're able to handle him. And that is the type of communication that's happening in a healthy soil, in a healthy body.
Is that when they aggregate together, or?
They will, yeah, and they'll even wrap the bad guys. They'll all come together and start gluing themselves to these
Oh man,
yeah,
I love
and
this
it's
up. Let's go.
and it's not even about just bacteria. They will do that to heavy metals in soil. If you have healthy soil, the beneficial bacteria will colonize around it and lock it down. And they're not doing it for us. They're doing it for themselves, but it ultimately helps us, right?
Okay.
Squid juice is made from the byproduct of the calamari that does not get eaten by people.
It's the pen. It's their the beak of the squid.
Yeah. So the squid pen is made of chitin. And it's made of beta chitin, which is a whole nother conversation. It's a beneficial form of chitin. So here I'm gonna switch over to my scope. This is
Okay, what do we
your
have?
tomato.
Okay, so in the tomato bed, I'm having a lot of, I think it's called Septoria, and it's like the brown, rusty colored spots on the leaves. And a lot of my leaves in my tomato bed are very yellow. They've died. I didn't have the bottoms cleaned up too well in the tomato bed. So I went through, stripped their legs a bit in the cages. And I just found a lot of these leaves and stuff. The tomatoes taste great, but I'm not sure exactly what's causing it, or if it's going to spread, cause an issue. I do have like cannabis plants that are growing right next to my tomato bed, not in the same bed, but I'm worried that it might leach out at that point. And I definitely don't want the spotting and stuff on the cannabis leaves. So,
Well, let's take a look.
what's
So
up?
right now we're at 100. I'm gonna go to 40 real quick. So I like to go to 40. We're taught that this is like you're mowing, right? We're just really up high, but I'm looking for the bigger things. I'm looking for nematodes. I'm looking
Now
for
this
the larger.
one also, at the beginning of this year, we decided to grab a bag of Dairy Dew compost and cover the whole bed with that. Just because we didn't, know about our own compost at that point, and wanted to make sure the tomatoes were going to be set. So I'm not sure if it's because we used a different.
How long has it been?
variety even.
What are the symptoms on your tomatoes? Adam and I happen to be working on some tomatoes right now. I don't know if you guys.
That's why
knew that or
I
not.
brought him back on deck. For a minute I moved Adam, then I thought tomatoes, bring Adam up.
So the tomatoes have leaves that are just yellowing, and they look like mottled, like they have brown rust spots on them. I can go get a leaf or two to show you.
Emily, are you seeing the yellowing on the lower, older leaves or on the newer leaves?
Typically just the lowers. I don't think I've seen any on the top all of that looks good, and the spotting is only on those lower leaves.
We're experiencing some of that. I'm not sure how close it is to the ground, and what kind of water splashing you might have or how much rain you've had. But where we're at, we've got quite a bit of rain, and we've kind of identified the plants are lacking a little bit of magnesium with the
Okay.
lower yellowing and the septora fungal pressure. It's just on some of those older leaves. Unless it really starts to travel up the plants, I'm not sure it's too much of an issue.
Okay.
But you really wouldn't know unless you really kind of dive into some more plant sap analysis on that.
Okay, and that would be where I would take one of the leaves and send that in to be looked at specifically, analyzed.
Yeah, it wouldn't be one, but it would be like a quart-sized bag of them. They're typically looking for new leaves and old leaves to kind of evaluate the nutrient flow, within the plant.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds a lot better than what it could be. So if it is just, I mean, we definitely have had just a ton of rain, especially even lately. So I'm hoping that that's it. I guess will we be able to tell in here from the soil of if it's missing something that's affecting it, or that is only figured out from like a sap analysis?
So with the soil, like, what are we missing here, right? I'm not seeing a lot of the higher trophic microbes. This looks cool though. The nutrient cyclers, right? The ones that take nutrients and cycle them. I've only seen 2, and I've been ripping through this slide. Look at that thing though. That looks trippy. That's gonna glow. Watch. Bam. Yeah. I'm not sure what that is.
Text us a picture of your leaf, Emily, and we can look at it better.
Yeah.
That looks pretty trippy. Again, not sure exactly what that is. Maybe it kind of looks Arcella-ish. But I'd like to see more nutrient cyclers in here. So if you had magnesium in here, and if the problem was magnesium, I'd like to see more microbes that are able to process magnesium faster. So I would take my compost, I would soak it in a bucket, and I would go saturate the soil to add them in there, or even a compost tea, and then look at everything flying around in the background. What's up with that?
Yeah, it seems like these bacteria are moving a bit more wildly. They're still vibrating, but it just seems to be a bit more aggressive.
It's the ones in the background. You see the ones zipping around everywhere. I don't think that's bacteria. Those are like ciliates. Those are like tiny little ciliates.
Well, man, I mean, I've got to say, I feel really great to know.
Let me see stuff.
No, so I top dressed this bed instead of our compost that we just looked at. I took a whole bag of Dairy Dew compost.
Oh yeah, thank you.
And put that over this bed, and then planted directly into it. So it's really interesting to see that it doesn't have as much life, that it doesn't have as much organic material or living organisms in it. And that's the one that I purchased, that people are spending money on, and yet I have it available in the backyard, and I just didn't know at the time that it was as good as it was. So yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna go spray it down and soak it and get the other microbes in there. But that's really cool to see. So I'm interested then in
there's a test date there.
I'm interested in the other beds. Like, I only sent you the other bed that I have is obviously the other compost and the potato bed, but that potato bed, I didn't top that dress with anything except for that's just been a chop and drop kind of a bed for potatoes for the past 2 years now. So that one I'm sure is going to have more life in it than compared to what this one is showing.
I was seeing a lot of fungi early on too. I don't know. I don't know what that is. That glass type structure. This here. That could be nutrients, minerals. So do you guys do you take your pots from inside out and put it in the compost pile? Or do you keep them in place?
No, we do that. So for the soil, because we grow living soil organic indoors, and then we've also grown cocoa with nutrients indoors. And so the soil living pots are grown in SIP containers, sub-irrigated planters. And so those just get re-amended every time and then recycled and reused with the next plant when it's ready to get put into it. the cocoa we do take outside and put it into the compost. So that might be, I guess, a salt nutrient that hasn't broken down.
Look at that. That's trippy.
Is that a bloom?
Dude, I don't know what that is, man.
Like some weird distorted fungi, maybe, but I don't know. That's strange.
Oh, look at the width on that. Like, there's not many times I would say this, but that looks like kind of something I don't want, right? Like,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
I'm just being real.
That's
I've never seen it. Like, and it's a good, maybe it's a good thing. But if we start, so here's why I start going back to what we know for sure, right? And what we learn in the soil food web and stuff like that. It's so thin right now, and this is at 400. We're taught that if you look at, let's be fair and let's pick one of the smallest little vibrating circles here. This one, well, yeah, let's just get this one here.
I
right?
mean, there's one on it right now.
Yeah, true. Okay, so Elaine Ingham teaches that you want at least 3 of these lined up like a pearl across the width of this, and if it's wider than 3 of these things, then it's out of that pathogenic range, and most likely starts falling into a beneficial hyphae. Now, hyphae doesn't necessarily mean fungus; it can also be a bacteria. So
Or
then,
a pseudohyphae.
or a pseudohyphae, which is so. I go now and I go look inside of it at 400, and now I'm trying to see if it's actually embodying bacteria. Is there bacteria inside of it, which would mean that it's feeding bacteria, eating the bacteria, and if it's eating the bacteria, that just means it's not eating your roots, right? Because it's embodying bacteria, and I'm not seeing anything moving inside of it. And then these
then
might
we're
even
gonna-
be. I'm just very hard to say what it is. God, maybe this is something that just is fantastic for soil. But if we're going by the rules that we only know 1% or something like that, I'm looking at this and I'm saying I want to attack this. And when I say that I want to attack it, look here, it's probably actinomycete.
Looks like it, yeah.
Okay, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. This is when you smell soil in the morning after a rain. This is what's making that smell. Okay, this is not that, right? And then these might be spores. So when I say attack it, I mean attack it with beneficial biology, like a soil soak from my good compost. Because soil it's like sending in a bigger army, right? And you send more good guys in, they're gonna force these guys to either act right or get out.
It's
And
this
they're
thing
gonna
of like it's setting the stage. In soil and really just any sort of habitable environment, if we start off with nothing there, let's say we start off in a vacuum, it's sterile. The first things that show up that set the stage are going to play a big role in how the rest of the material goes. That's why it's so important to like inoculate yourself with good probiotics after you get antibiotics after you get sick, right? You're trying to re-inoculate yourself with the non-pathogenic microbes. The same thing applies to soil. If you have a lot of pathogenic microbes that show up, nothing else around, they'll take over, which is why places that spray glyphosate, places that spray pesticides, get pests, get fungal blooms of pathogens, because none of the good stuff is there to balance it. But
Yeah,
also,
okay.
you can balance it if you pour EM over, if you pour the different brews and preps of beneficials and facultative microbes, like Maurice was saying, then you balance it out and you get that proper environment back.
Okay,
Balance.
So it sounds like the first step is going to be to do a tea from my compost bed.
Not a tea, an extract.
Yeah,
Yeah, we start with an extract.
I would definitely start with an extract because you have enough biology in that compost to look at this guy here. This is cool. You have enough biology in that compost that you can, it doesn't have to be 5 gallons to a handful. You can make a thick extract. You can make a heavier extract. You have
What would stop me from just layering my compost onto the bed and
You
just letting
can.
the rainwater in it.
I would,
Oh, yeah,
I would
do
wash
that.
it
You have
in.
enough.
Oh yeah,
Just remember, you
this
get-
pile is like 5 feet wide.
Yep. I would wash it in. This is a
Either
beautiful
way.
Arcella. Look at this thing. That is another form of testate amoeba that just makes its own shell. You see that?
Oh, it's
It's like-
big.
Well, yeah, I'm at 400 and zoomed in. It's actually,
Okay.
it's
Well, I
still
think you
big
can
though.
tell
I mean, well, for 400,
This is a
score
nice
there.
exosomic one where it forms itself out of particles that define its environment. You can see the seams between each of the particles that it went and grabbed
Yeah.
and assembled itself out of like bricks.
It takes those pseudopods. It takes particles from around the environment and it starts gluing its own shell. This is like arms out there and putting this here, putting that there, taking this, putting it on its body and making a shell. Beneficial for sure. So you're not on fire over here, right? It's just, I'd like to throw that's why we overwhelm with microbes. We don't have these problems at like the garden. We're sitting on 2 acres and a lot of times we're not dealing with issues because we just keep doing a lot of extract, not heavy nutrient unless we have to, unless we feel like we need to, but look at this too. So we're seeing a lot of like bacteria going, right? I wouldn't call this fungal.
Now,
I would call this bacterial.
when I do get everything topped, how long should I wait before knowing that it's like done its job? Does it have to take a few weeks? Is it okay?
You
if I
have to
keep
let the
watering?
plant, yeah, just water it in and let the plant tell you, right? Look at your new growth coming out. Don't expect the leaf to fix itself, right? The plant would rather let a leaf die because it spends less energy making a new leaf. So look for your new growth and you're probably really good. You guys are probably really good at observing your plants just because you've been growing long enough. A lot of people, like yours truly here, I have not spent enough time watching plants grow. And I haven't spent enough time watching my plants struggle. And I'm not sounding like it. I grow a lot of tropical stuff that is very happy in sand, right? So, I'm being attacked sometimes by people saying, you got to get more years in. I sure do. But you see, we're like, there's a lack of life here. You get what I'm saying? Even though we're seeing, I'd like to see more. Look at that. Here we go. Now we're talking fungal, right? This is the player that's there. That's a nice fungal strand, right? We're looking at the separations.
Now, what are each of those separations? Is that a good thing? That means that it's branching out?
growing.
Is that like
Each
a
one is a
row on
compartment.
fungal branch?
Like,
Yeah.
it's a sign of multicellular advanced fungus. This is good fungus, where it has strong compartments between different cells, and this means that like if it gets damaged, it can break off along those seams, and restart somewhere else. That's why it does that.
Okay, that's awesome.
And then the color is important, right? This has been taking in humic acids and fulvic acids from the rhizosphere.
Embodying those nutrients, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, grow something, right? It's like, dude, how do you not love microbes? Like, it's amazing how I was talking about this the other day to someone. How we have all this beautiful stuff above ground that should have captured me, but in my world then I wasn't paying attention to anything, and it took the microbes for me to even appreciate birds. I lived that life where I was just go, work, and
Dude, it
But look
took
at
my
that
garden for me to appreciate
spore.
birds. Birds freak me the fuck out. I want nothing to do with them. And now all of a sudden I've got 80 in my backyard. I open the door and they fly off. And I'm like, yes, I feed you. I care for you.
I love you. Look at
Run
this
from
spore.
me.
This spore right here is germinating. You see this here? And then
Yeah.
back here, it's actually growing now.
Wait, that's not something that's just fallen on top of it. It's actually spreading from that fungal cord.
This is a spore right here that's
Okay.
sitting on top of this, right? But this spore now is germinating right here. It's growing on this end. You can tell it's a spore. You see the lines in it. It looks fungal. You'll start recognizing things as fungal. especially
don't
with
know
this
what any of these
brown,
look like
this
right now.
brown, this brown color is going to be a clear indicator of it. Now, if you took 3 bacteria and lined them up across this thing, what would you say? Yeah, it's bigger. This is wider than those 3 little dots, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a rule of. I mean, that's kind of like something we pay attention to when I'm struggling to identify something.
But if
Because
you know this is already a positive, then that would be the exception.
right, this is all the indicators here of right away we know this is what people are looking for, right? This is like we know this is
Yeah.
beneficial.
So we've got something good in there, just not.
No, yeah,
enough of
you're
the
listen.
good
It's not bad at all. Like I just
want more.
maybe there's a nutrient deficiency. Maybe like why? What would be here cycling though? What if there's magnesium in here? Who's getting it ready for the plant? So we know this, right? We know that the plant puts in an order and needs magnesium so that it takes an exudate, it takes sugar, it takes sunlight, it takes CO2 and water, and it creates sugar in the flavor of magnesium, basically. And then it sends it through the roots and it wakes up the magnesium mining bacteria. These little dots that'll then go, let's say there's magnesium right here in this piece of soil here. That little dot will come over here, approach this thing, and then it's going to release enzymes. And if you could imagine, like enzymes are little pods of knives that are going to start hacking away at that organic matter. And what's breaking away from it is soluble, and the bacteria absorb it into its cytoplasm, into its body. It embodies it. So now that bacterium is holding the magnesium, but you need one of the predators to eat it in order to poop it out and poop out the available nutrient, the magnesium. So who's eating it?
And
The fungus
we're
can,
not-
but
we're not identifying any magnesium eaters currently.
well, to identify, well, yeah, I'm just using magnesium as I could be saying calcium. I'm just throwing magnesium out there as a nutrient.
Okay, but we're
Uh,
just not seeing enough of those, the guys that break them down.
I'm not seeing enough of the guy. We have plenty of the guys that break them down. The guys that break them down are the little tiny dots. But the little tiny dots, it gets locked inside of them, and they have no way to give it to the plant other than being eaten by a predator like a lion. So
we're
now
not
the
seeing
lions-
predators.
We're not seeing enough predators here to really get those things freaking moving, right? And in
Okay.
your compost, every time we moved over a field of view, there was like 3 or 4 of them. Every time we
Okay.
moved, 3 or 4 more. So
Like a
I would
testine
also
amoeba
say
is a predator.
correct. A ciliate
Okay.
is a predator, right? And also the sample's a little dry, which means, and then here's where I start getting into murky water with people, but I've just done a lot of the work. And so, and I'm going to show you, see, the best part is here next week, I'm going to put this under a better moisture condition, and we're going to see more predators. Your predators are probably there, you're just not watered enough to unlock them, to wake them up,
Okay.
right? Because
I
I've taken
definitely didn't
soil.
water before I took the sample. Should I water before I take a soil sample? For
Well,
anybody, not just me. But
Well, I didn't. I wanted it the way you had it. So now I'm gonna water it.
okay.
And as we sit here with this sample on the glass, we'll start seeing things wake up. And if I don't see things wake up, you need more predators in your party here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But as you add moisture, and I've taken soil from like dry, I've added 10% moisture, 20% moisture, 30% moisture, all the way up to completely flooded. And at every level, more and more things wake up, depending on the amount of moisture there is, and they know it. Look, here's a predator, and then what's wrong? What's going on with this predator? Like, it looks shot. I don't know. I don't see an amoeba in there. I see something in
It's
there,
not
but it looks
moving.
vacated to me. You don't always see them moving.
Okay.
It just looks vacated to me. Right? We're not seeing, I'd love to see a rotifer zip past here, which means that I would go water aggressively. Now, Adam will probably just mush me for saying that, and so would, because too much water is not good for your tomatoes either, but I believe in I call it pulsing it, right? I believe in pulsing my plants. Giving them a lot of water, because guess what? When it rains here and we take on monsoons the next day, I've got new flowers, I've got new growth, I've got new everything,
Yeah.
right? After these heavy rains. And just the presence of water in that system for that short period of time is waking things up. They get to go to eat. They get to cycle things, and then they bail, right? So that's just me and what I do here, and understanding that these microbes. Look, after the hurricane, I keep going to the hurricane thing because everything woke up in the water, even 10 minutes after the storm was over. So these things, when they wake up, all they do is eat. They wake up to eat. They're like cats.
Emily, one thing, I was saying the
Here we go again.
magnesium, just not sure what kind of soils, what area of the country are you in? You said you're getting a lot of rain, correct?
Yeah, I'm in mid-Michigan.
Okay.
So we would get a ton of rain for a few days, and then it would go dry for a while, and then we'd get rain for, heavy for a day or two, and then dry.
Yeah,
It's
so
been,
assuming you're, planted in your parent material, not raised beds of soil that you've kind of generated, I'd be curious to know, what is the mineral profile in that soil? Does it have a lot of magnesium already and it's just not getting broken down into soluble form, available to your plant, or is it just not a lot of magnesium in that parent material to begin with? Would be number one. Do you do mycorrhizal inoculation with your tomato plants when you plant them?
all right, let's see. So the beds are straight into the ground. They've been built up, over the years of top dressing, but they do go straight into the ground. Again, this is one that I did top dress with Dairy Dew compost, not my own compost, because I didn't know what was in my compost. So I used the Dairy Dew because I thought, if I buy it from a store, it's going to be good, and I really wanted the tomatoes to do good. So I did top it with that this year. When I put the tomato plants in, it's got tomatoes, like 12 tomato plants in the bed, and then on the outer edge there are 5 or 6 pepper plants. And I did use a Azos mycorrhizae powder sprinkling when I did transplant the tomatoes and peppers from cups to the ground.
So yeah, on the mycorrhizal, mow and then can look at it to see if the roots are inoculated with that. But with the mycorrhizal, if you do it at seed or at least at transplant, really, putting that directly onto the roots and it inoculates them. That just gives them further reach within the soil profile to gather, more of the magnesium that might be available if the plants need that. The other thing is if the soil is kind of lacking some of that mineral profile that has magnesium for these different microbes to break down, then you can look at, things like basalt rock dust. A good quality one will have, some of that, or some other types of rock dust that are going to be higher in magnesium. What we have had to do is address all those things for longer term fixes, but also address what the plant needs. And so through a foiler application of a chelated magnesium, spray can help, and that's with any, mineral that the plant might not be getting. And then there's also fermented plant extracts or fermented plant juices, that are made with specific plants that are hyperaccumulators of specific minerals, in this case, magnesium. So there's a few different ways that you can kind of address some of those deficiencies, still in, very good regenerative, fashion.
Now, how do I look at my soil to see if it is lacking magnesium? How do I get that tested, or where do I send that?
So we do a few different things. So we would actually do a soil mineral analysis, like a Malic 3 to start with to kind of see, but we'd also, before that, we'd look at what is the current material made out of, that's been around for thousands of years. When you're looking at, if you're growing tomatoes outside, the roots are actually going down 14, 16, maybe even 18 inches into the soil, depending upon your soil. So, the 12 inches and above, they're getting 70, maybe 80% of their nutrients from that area. But the other 20 to 30% of nutrients are coming from deeper down, as the roots go out and explore. And then even further, if they're inoculated with mycorrhizal, because the mycorrhizal will extend that even further. So it's just kind of
700 times.
understanding what's there to
Okay.
begin with. And then it could still be there, and your plants just aren't able to pull it up. for whatever reason. It might be antagonized from something else. So that's where, plant sap analysis and trying to further identify what might be in the soil, but my plants might not be getting that certain mineral because it's antagonized. And in those cases, you just kind of have to figure out what you might need to apply, specifically to the plant for that grow season, and then address your soil.
And then even if the plant is, sorry, I forget the word you just said, like if it's locked out of magnesium, if it's not able to get that because it's too full of something else, if I do a foliar spray of magnesium, I'm sorry?
Antagonize is the word.
Thank you. Yes. So if the plant is antagonized, if I do a foliar spray, would it then still absorb the magnesium, or is it just at that point not able to even register it?
Yeah, so typically when you're doing your foliar sprays, for a lacking mineral, we'll just stay with magnesium, and that magnesium in that foliar spray would be in a chelated, Mg2 plus 2, soluble fashion. So when it hits the leaf's, structure, it's going to be absorbed right into the plant cell walls.
Awesome. Okay.
You've got that fungus again in here that I don't like. And then you got this.
That weird.
That's good.
That weird.
Yeah, I saw another one. Yeah, you've got that's.
I saw you zoom in on him. It caught you off guard.
Well, yeah, that's a spore. But that one thing that I was looking at over there forever, I just can't. I can't identify that. And it's got every type of pathogenic blueprint that they teach you, as far as it not being consistent, it's not being uniform, it doesn't have the color, it doesn't have the necessary life living inside of it.
This one doesn't look anything like the last slide.
No, that was you can't. It's not fair to
notice. She started to notice.
Yeah, it is fair. I can, and you know what I can do next time is I'll pull one of my soil samples directly from the ground with sand, mostly sand, and you see how much life is in there, and it'll blow your mind. Because that's how we live out here in Florida. It's not fair. We got a lot of rain, but I've been spraying microbes. As a matter of fact, I need to do that because I've been ever since that 2-3 weeks ago. I've been spraying IMOs like I'm probably killing things at this point. Look at all the spores he has there, and look at that fungal hyphae. What sample is this?
This is from a wood chip pile that's been sitting. I just dug into it.
This is what I'm telling you, man. I'm kicking and screaming this. This is wood chips, man. How I would take this, I would soak it in 5 gallons of water and put it in the soil, because there's a job that needs to be done. I feel like a broken record. There's a job that needs to be done, and all the employees are right here at the wood chip pile. Think of the wood chip piles at the Home Depot, I guess. And my family's out there ready to get busy. And look at it. Look how much fungus is there. They're just like, they're there to break the wood chips down. I'm sure you're gonna have a gang of nematodes there. I've been looking at this way too long. I'm gonna put your other compost on real quick, because
I'm just gonna start sending you random things, Mo, for you to put in the microscope. This is so fucking cool.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Let me hit this. I got 15
This is the wood chip
here.
pile that we're about to, when we receive the 15 yards of mushroom compost, we're going to break that down and turn it into this.
Look at all the spores. Those are all spores, by the way. And by the way, that probably looks like trichoderma that you just bought. Look at it. You see all these little spores everywhere? These little clear spores?
There are so many.
You won't even need much of it. And there's so many diverse spores. He's got at least 4 right now that we're looking at that are different type of spores.
Wait, they all look the same to me. How do you know that?
Because the shape and color. Look, he's gonna point at 3 right now. 4 at least. 1, 2, which is more round. Then there's the football-looking one. Then there's those clear ones. Then that one that has something in the middle of it. They're all different. They're like drawings. They're like humans. Humans have like a different type of nose or different.
Mushrooms will look different under a micro. Well, okay, hold on. So the mushrooms that are going to sprout from this will be like flat brown ones, and maybe some rounded brown ones, and maybe some flat white ones.
The spores are all different, and the hyphae are all different. I have a
Not
book that's
every
like 200.
spore will mushroom, right?
Yeah, you got endomycorrhizal, ectomycorrhizal. You've got this type of micro. You've got this. Myco is so deep that we could be here for years learning about them. We got a book that's got like a million different, things that just kind of like one little thing changes the whole dynamic of that fungus. Let's check out your hot compost. I call it hot, meaning it's got nutrient in it. Look at that.
And this is
Man,
the
I
one
really
you wouldn't
hope
want to
so.
smell.
What happened, dude?
Don't smell your compost right after you put it in there. Wait a little while.
Yeah, you gotta let it go bust rails of your 2-year-old compost, no problem. The hotter stuff, the active stuff.
Gotta let that cool down for a minute.
Let it settle up. Let the biology handle things. Yep. This is what we're talking about. Mycorrhizal fungi the root will roll out a red carpet for mycorrhizal fungi. It'll actually open up its cell walls and allow that fungus to infect it and then set up camp by putting arbuscules inside of it. It's basically making a base inside of the freaking root, and then it goes out up to 700 times larger than the root zone. So the plant says, here's some sugar, go get me water, and that fungus will just be able to grow out way further than the plant can go, and in some tighter areas than the plant can go, because it's made of chitin. That is a beautiful image of a root that's been infected with mycorrhizal fungi. That is by Maria Luper. We're going to have her on here. That, my friend, is a fantastic image showing the fungus that infected the root. How you doing? ¿Cómo está usted? We roll around here. Woo! Kind of stuff that'll just make me throw a party. Straight up. That's the reality of it. So AMF is a big deal. And it pulls up phosphorus like no one's business. So it just so happens that that's a nutrient that everyone struggles with. Well, our buscular mycorrhizal fungi is going to handle that. Purple non-sulfur bacteria, I got that. It's 15% phosphorus by dry weight. Telling you, everyone's slipping. That's a beautiful color, this compost. Let's drop it. Let's finish it. I can't believe the time's already gone.
Slide.
Everybody's been hanging with us too, man. Good stuff.
I know.
Hit that.
Really
hit that. What did I say?
comments.
Inoculate the like button.
Yes, there you go. Inoculate that like
the
button.
subscribe button. Yeah, please give
Serious.
give everybody a subscribe. We got Emily over there at any.thing.grows and at the Soil Guys and I Grow Soil, of course. And
Watch
Crane
this.
Eagle. Crane Eagle.
Look at you're on it. Hell yeah.
I know, seriously. You just got a new job. You're hired.
Here, before Mo throws that up, let me just show you this last little. Look at this guy. This is like just exploding with fungi.
Look at that. This is mulch, guys. Remember, you heard it here first. When everybody starts inoculating 3 years from now, they're just using mulch.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
I don't understand. Like, I haven't done the work because I don't understand why I can't be the only one that's looking at this and saying, dude, this is the fungus that we need to just run a drench. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Inoculated. Look at how much fungus is there. You know what? When I was in California, I borrowed some of their redwood forest pine duff, put it in a bag, brought it to Florida. Look at how much spores. Look how much fungus. Look at the size of the fungus, the diversity of the fungus.
Look at this
Mulch
right
is-
here. Right
Mulch
here
is
where
the winner
my
here, dude.
where I'm pointing, I'm gonna zoom in, and it looks like this thing is like a fungal root, and it's like got all these feeders into this organic matter.
Hit the epi on that. It might expose the depth of that, or it might expose. Look at all the spores. It's like 3 or 4 different type of spore there. And then those are two different fungal strands there. They're not the same. Look
So
at the
is this actual
difference in them.
footage of a plant eating from this.
That is fungus eating mulch from the mulch pile. This is not even soil.
No, I just
This
grabbed
is-
a bunch of. I dug down into the black stuff and then just filled it up in the test tube, shook it up with
Time.
water, and this is what you get.
You go out to your mulch pile, you move away the dry stuff, get underneath it, which would basically be your forest floor, and take a handful of that darker, moist mulch, and this is what's in there. And this is what I'm kicking and screaming at people. Like, why somebody had to have looked at this and said, oh yeah, there's a lot of life, but it's not good because of what? Like, why? Otherwise, these big companies aren't going to tell you that you're going to get this type of biology out of mulch, because then you're not going to buy their product. So what happens when you put this? What happens when you put this on top of your? That's why in Florida here, mangoes, they don't want biology, they don't want organic matter, they want sand and mulch. Well, you're looking at why it wants the mulch.
We
Hell, and
have our
that's
whole
mulch.
backyard right now where our garden is for where we're growing food and plants and all of that, covered in mulch. We got a chip dropped off, so we got like 5 yards or something. It was a crazy, ridiculous amount. We actually got 2 of them, so we have half of our backyard, everywhere where our plants are in the garden, covered in a mulch layer. As just so we don't gotta, try to get a lawnmower back there fighting the grass, overtaking it and all. So to know that this is literally what we just dropped on top of everywhere we're growing, that's awesome.
That's what's going to start happening. Now, we can start getting into nitrogen immobilization and stuff, but we don't have enough time.
Not tonight.
But yeah, dude, this is so. I'm gonna jump. Let's put your
Yeah, I'll come back on the camera. Let's see this last compost. We're like,
Oh,
man, it's
here we
almost been
go.
2
That
hours
looks like
already.
it.
So that's got, and I had to dilute the heck out of that. That's a 1 to 8 dilution.
Everything's moving pretty well.
Well, you've got a lot of small particles, right? That's what I love about this sample. Everything is so small. And
I saw a testate
But look,
amoeba when you were out.
I'm gonna tell you right now that this is not gonna have much life in it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Right, I'm gonna call it right now.
Uh-oh.
I'm seeing yeast.
Okay.
I'm seeing yeast, which means usually for me it means it's still early. I don't know. Is this hot? Is this heating up on you?
Well, this is so where I pulled this out from is the same area where I'm just dropping food into it. So I moved
Okay.
the food aside and just pulled out from right under it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like a bokashi at that point, right?
Yeah,
It's the very initial stage.
You're just getting out of that bokashi stage. You're probably at a 5.5 to 6 pH, and you start getting into that mesophilic stage where there's a sweet spot around 5.5 or 6 where biology starts to move into it. And look, you've got hyphae growing, but you do have I've already seen enough yeast that I recognize this as something that you find in food scraps.
That would make a lot of sense then.
And then here you go. You see, the biology's gonna start moving in at these pHs, and I haven't pH'd it, but I will.
So that would make sense.
It'll
So this
test
one
data
is in
meatball.
the process of breaking down still. That's why we're using that other bed, the first slide. That's why we're
That's
top
right.
dressing, because this is the one we're just adding to while we work down that one that's been sitting there for 2-3 years, building, cooking, breaking down.
Yeah, but if you took some of this now and moved it into your stable, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be adding some nutrient to it, right? But it's busy. Look at up here. I mean, things are working. Even these little things tugging
hold on.
away.
I took after I sifted my first
I crushed
compost,
that.
the active compost that I'm using, the first slide we did, I sifted that. All the pieces that did not sift, that were too big, I took those chunks and put them into this compost pile so that they would inoculate this one.
Well,
Was
that's
that the
probably
right
where
way?
all this. Yeah, that's what's happening here. You see, that's exactly what you want to do. That's just a great move. That's what I do. Right when I feel that if the pH is good enough, you don't want to. I wouldn't throw it into a 3.5 pH because I'm gonna shot the shit out of half my microbes and then. But this is moving along. Keep the moisture right. Just remember that. It's the most important thing, everybody. It is the most important thing. No moisture, you might as well just call it a day. Seriously, because these microbes swim, and if they can't walk, if they can't swim to their destination, they're gonna lock it down.
Okay.
And if you want to see that at a macro level, let your worm farm dry out. Gone.
That
Disappear.
sounds
Look at-
like murder.
It is murder.
Don't do that.
Why would you
The crazy
murder
thing
your
is
microbes?
If
Look
you
at
let
here.
it dry out and then let it sit and then just water it and start feeding it and they'll come right back.
Oh,
Here's an encysted microbe. You see it? You see the
It's-
double-celled wall? It's encysted, meaning it is protecting itself. It's dormant to sleep. It is
Everyone's
waiting
waiting
for.
by.
It's waiting for the right moment
whether it's a pH signal, whether it's a nutrient signal, to finally wake up and say, my turn, right? It's my part, my turn to get busy, right? Here's a spore over here. Soil is art to me, right? Like everything is so designed so perfectly. It is just, and it's all signaling. Like everything is a signal. It's waiting. Like it's waiting for that right moment that it's supposed to wake up. This is all
Are
it's all
those
just,
spores, those black,
This is
brown in the middle there?
this is a testate amoeba here, if
Okay.
that's what you're referring to. This is a football-shaped spore. See it?
Yeah.
And then, soon enough, with more time, we can start identifying some of this stuff, and that's what we'll all be learning, because when we start pulling the books out. But this here is just some crazy IMO going on or something. But look at it. You see, here's where we can really look at it and say that it is embodying microbes. It's got bacteria inside of it. And then you can see the bennies. You can see the bennies over here. All the beneficials, these are all just happening. All your bacteria is jittering, everything's moving, everything's colonizing. Look, you see here where bacteria starts gluing themselves. They start creating aggregates, and as they glue themselves to these other particles, they make bigger particles.
Don't move the screen.
Mm-hmm.
In the bottom right corner, there's like an elongated. Is that a testate amoeba?
Yeast.
That's yeast.
Oh. I'll get there eventually.
No, you will. If you're trying to nail it on, we've got like 2 runs. But the good thing is you're recognizing a living organism now.
Right.
Right? So here you've got, okay, how many testates do you see here? If any?
2.
Right here?
Yeah, and then one at the bottom right.
There you go. You successfully identified testate amoeba. Now you know that this is actually a big piece of
You
yeast.
have passed the course.
Oh, I said there would be a
winning.
test. We did it.
Winning.
You're now
Uh-oh.
christened a citizen scientist. Is that because he smashed one? Thank you, Josh, for pointing that out.
Now,
It's
so
called
the yeast, is that any of these like
abuse.
light teal
Straw?
purple?
So Spartan, sorry, real quick about straw. We be careful with your straw, because if it still has seeds in it, you're gonna end up
Oh yeah, we're gonna.
with a problem, right?
Yeah.
That's experience talking, bro.
It definitely had seed in it. There wasn't a lot though, but yeah, there was.
You
some
can always
of
tell a
that.
testate because they have a round opening. It might not be immediately appearing to you as round, but it will be an opening somewhere where they can exit their shell. It'll generally be like sometimes like this one's in the center in the bottom right. It's kind of off to the side compared to the axis of their shell. And our cell is generally like somewhere right in the center. But our cell might be rotated, right? But there will always be that circular opening somewhere.
Have you seen one exit its shell?
Not on this live, but many times before. Yes, it's quite
You
a
have
sight.
before.
Oh yeah.
You know what would
Yeah,
be
like
cool
it-
that we could do? I'll be super excited doing on this on the Soil Lounge, is like teaching how to go catch an IMO and then go catch the
Yeah.
IMO, right? Then showing the box,
That
go
sounds
out
like I need
there.
to get like a vaccination or something before I do that. What?
And
Go
no,
catch an
it's
IMO.
indigenous microorganisms. See, I already assume you know what that is. We go out there, you're gonna go microbe hunting in your own yard, and you're gonna catch those microbes, and then we're gonna isolate the microbes, and then we're gonna grow the microbes, and then you're gonna have an abundance of microbes in a jar, so that whenever you need to call upon microbes, you'll never have to buy them again. You're
Will
gonna
they do
take
my
'em.
bidding like the crows?
They will. You can actually
Okay.
you can
I'm
biosteer.
in.
Believe me, our microbes that's just a horrible representation of a nematode right there.
No, it's not. It's a fungal.
That just means it's really nice. I just don't want to admit it. That is, you see that? Okay, that's not a fungal, bro. Wait a minute.
It's not a root feeder.
Let me see.
It's a single stylet.
We can jump straight to it. We're actually in our 2-hour mark. Damn. Well, we'll get to finish it off with Jeff's pathogenic nematode.
If I can get him to slow down, I actually caught video one time where you could see the stylet pulsing in and out.
Yeah, seriously, man. I appreciate everybody coming in and chill with us. This is cool. Well, this is officially our first live for the Soul Lounge. You know, we were just kind of, and this started because this is kind of what I do anyway, and we do anyway in the background. We just kind of said, let's just share it. Cool.
And I like free education, so I'm picking their damn brains, and everybody can join along and do it as well.
You're gonna be like our project. You're just gonna be like creating a regenerative
Superhero.
yeah, seriously. And you guys are out there
really
grinding
excited.
it too.
I mean, I'm excited just from tonight, just from looking at this. All right, sick. I'm gonna go figure out extracting or just top dressing and watering in from that good compost pile.
What's gonna happen to you and Spartan is that you guys are gonna be out there in the garden, and it's gonna be like a Sunday, right, or a Friday, and you guys are gonna be like, we need a microscope because I'd like to look at this right now.
I've already told him. I told him that he needs to converse with you and figure out what size microscope would be appropriate.
You need to converse with Igro. Let's let everybody know that too.
Well, also, it's like, don't overthink it. My wife has a it's cheap microscope from Amazon, and you would be able to see the testates, the nematodes. You would be able to see all these things. So if you were just to use it in your home garden or whatever, you can definitely get in this at a very affordable price.
By consulting with Igro, he'll be able to tell you which ones can be upgraded in the future, right? So you're not buying one for $300 that's going to end up in your closet. You're gonna buy one for $300-$400 that's you're gonna be able to upgrade. That's what I would have known. I wish I would have known earlier.
Yep. The key is to buy a dependable platform. I'll be happy to help you with that. Yeah.
Eagle's your guy.
I'll be reaching out.
I'm Mo with Igro Soil. We've got Emily over here with Anything Grows. We've got Jeff, Soil Guys, Adam. Appreciate all the info, man, and Eagle, of course.
Thank you, everyone.
Support on everything.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Great time, great show, good info.
I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing y'all next week, Tuesday,
Sweet.
7 o'clock Eastern. Until then, stay sticky.
Grow
Buenos
soil, be life.
nachos. Buenos nachos. I'm Micro Soul, and I'm out.
I'm out.
Eagle. Eagle like deuces.
Grow soil, feed life.
Thanks, guys.